the magician, Geet Sethi on with us today. The man Padma Shri Geet Sethi, I mean, no accolades are sufficient enough for somebody who has achieved excellence in his discipline to an extent to which Mr. Sethi has. He is an institution India should be proud of, Indians should be proud of. And going forward, the next 24 years, when we reach the 100 years of India's independence, we should be very sure that we do not miss out on experiences of these iconic figures who traversed through rough weathers, deep pockets, muddy waters, against all tides, and especially in a sport which probably had no takers in this nation. And he's somebody who shone like a pole star. He is the pole star of Indian sport. People like him, Vishwanathan Anand, Dhanraj Pillai, Abhinav Bindra, P.T. Usha, Milkha Singh ji, Leander Pace. I mean, I have to skip my memory down the memory lane and, try and find out probably a few more names. If I miss out on some, it will be injustice to all of them. But we will not play politics. We'll straight away get onto the business. Padma Shri Geet Sethi ji, this nation has to understand what it takes to make a genius like you. I mean, were you born a genius? Did you become a genius? I mean, nobody can do what you've done without being a genius. Nobody can do what Vishwanathan Anand has done. Probably it's providence which decides. But then whatever you decided, your ecosystem decided, and the way things shaped up around you is what we should learn from you today. And that is what should be an inspiration to the generations to come, so that they can not only take up this sport, take up your inspirational stories and use them in whatever they do in their lives to excel as Indians, as human beings, so that by 2047, India is not only an economic superpower, but also the Vedic superpower that we were thousands of years ago. Without wasting further time, thank you, sir, once again. It's an honor, it's a privilege, it's an opportunity, like we say to most all the guests that we invite personally on this Amrit Kal series of Vision India Forum, to speak about their experiences, journey, their field, their areas of choice, and what they have to, teach the young generation going forward, the nation going forward. Over to you, Padma Shri Geet Sethi.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on this series. You spoke about excellence, and one of the requirements of excellence is to be a genius. I beg to differ there. There are geniuses who there are some people who are born to do some things, but there are very few. You can count them on the fingers of one hand. Across all disciplines, across all professions in the world. But excellence to me, I have played the sport for 40 years. I stopped playing the sport almost 7-8 years ago. But for me, when I look back, of course you have to be talented. Not necessarily having a genius-like talent, but you need talent. You need coordination. To be a good sports person, you need coordination. And I'll tell you something, all sports persons who play any ball sport, or for that matter, a shuttle sport, something like badminton, they all have a basic talent of bodily coordination. But the excellence that they achieve, be it in table tennis, be it in badminton, be it in golf or cricket or football or billiards or snooker, or there's so many other ball games. The excellence comes finally, according to me, by just sheer application, sheer hunger to do well in whatever you're doing. But the bottom line is hard work. Hard work, not because, hard work because you want to understand the subject. So excellence is a function of hard work. It's a function of concentration. And then I think you referred to it briefly. It's a function of the universe coming together and somehow giving you opportunities, making you appear at the right time, at the right place, giving you a little bit of victory here or a little bit of luck here and there. And a combination of all three, I think, then achieve, a sports person specific to our profession achieves excellence. And that excellence then translates to a tournament victory, it translates to a state championship, a national championship, and then maybe world championships and Olympic medals. I'm happy to share with you examples of hard work and concentration, but if I can share with you, people keep asking this question: what does luck have to play in us in any profession, not only a sports person? What does luck have to? How does luck affect in what you have done? And my answer is this: in the actual match arena, luck will even out. Today I may get a fluke red pot. Tomorrow I may have played a perfect shot and something happens and the shot doesn't go in. It could be bad luck. It could be a bad luck on the table. In cricket parlance, let's say somebody has bowled an unplayable ball, and even Don Bradman would get out on that ball. Now that is when you're on 99, you're unable to make the 100. That's okay. That's luck on the field. But that luck will even out. I may have hit a beautiful shot to the best ball, and there's a fielder that has taken a catch that can never be repeated in the history. So that luck will even out. But what about the luck which the universe is arranging? And I'll give you a small example of my own story. The year was 1984. I had won the National Billiard Championship. I had never been abroad. And I said, to become better in my sport, I need to go to England. That was the mecca of billiards and snooker. I had my company at that time, Tata Oil Mills. The president gave me a ticket. He gave me a return ticket. He said, go, if you want to go, here's the ticket from the company. Great luck. This is luck off the table. I had $300 or $400. I was working for a company as an assistant manager. My savings, I translated it into $300-400. And the equation was very simple. We were three of us: Obi Agrawal, Sanjay Sawant, and myself. And we said, we have a return ticket. We have $500. Let's go. We play the tournaments there. If we win, beautiful. There's good prize money. If we lose, ticket hai, वापस आ जाएंगे. And the three of us went, took a flight, landed in England, went to the first tournament, lost. After 3, 4, 5 days, we were staying in a small bed and breakfast. We played another tournament. We lost in the pre-quarterfinals, no prize money. Third tournament, after this is now we are reaching the third week. We again played a tournament, again we lost. And it was time to come back home. $500 doesn't take you much in England. And we were with our bags playing the third or fourth tournament. We were walking down to the bus station, crossing a car park. And somebody, an Indian looking guy, was closing the boot of his car, and he saw us and he said, he was like 20 feet from us. He said, excuse me, but I saw you, three of you play. You were playing very nice. I saw you in the tournament. Who are you guys? So, we introduced ourselves. I am the national billiard champion. Obi is the national snooker champion. Sanjay Sawant is the national snooker runner-up. He said it absolutely, because the way you were playing, it was very clear. And he said, I also am an amateur player, so I had come to play. I also lost, so I am also going home. He said, where are you going? We had our bag, we had our cue. We said, we are going to the coach station and back to Heathrow, and we are taking a flight back home. We've run out of our money. He opened his boot, his trunk, He took our bags, put them in the car. He said, no, you come with me. We are 24. Obi was 26, Sanjay Sawant was 25. We sat in his car and he drove from Wales. He took the M1 and we were seeing, as we were nearing London, we were seeing markers for Heathrow, signs for Heathrow. We thought he's dropping us to Heathrow. And suddenly he took a left turn, took the car to a town called Luton, parked the car in front of a small little house. He rang the bell. 84, there were no mobile phones. The door opened. There was a young lady there. That was his wife. And this is what he told her. He said, Ruchita, he was a Gujarati guy, Praveen Patel. He said, Ruchita, aa mara bhaiban che, amari jode rehse. It translates to, Ruchita, these are my friends. They will live with us. We stayed with him for 3 months. The next morning, we got up. He took us to the club. He said, you are national champions. You have to practice to be able to win tournaments. Without practice, how can you win? He took us to the club, paid our practice money. We practiced for 4 days, almost 5 days. We had good food to eat. And after 6 days, we went for another very large tournament in Green Sands. And the tournament I won 3,000 pounds was my prize money. Obi Agrawal reached the semi-finals, 1,500 pounds, and Sanjay Sawant 1,500 pounds. Now, this is what is luck. If we were walking 4 seconds later from that park, Praveen Patel would have been in his house and we would have been on a coach back to about the unemployed car mechanic, but with a heart so huge and the timing, I want to stress, this is luck. And if we think we can achieve things without luck, I don't think it's possible. You may have the biggest hard work, you may have great concentration, luck chahiye. और हम सबको luck मिलता है. We all get fortunes, good luck. We should remember it and we should repeat it. We get bad luck also. But why do we want to focus on the bad luck? जो good luck मिला है, जिसकी वजह से, if we had not met him, we would have come back from England as losers. Our confidence would have been shattered. The very next year, I won the World Billiard, my first World Billiard Championship in Delhi. It was thanks to the confidence of that trip. 7 seconds later, I would have come back a loser. Who knows? I may not have won the World Championship in Delhi. So I think this is what I just wanted to forth, hard work, concentration, but let's not forget what good luck is. And good luck is not a lucky stroke. Good luck is how the universe arranges itself to see that you achieve what you have achieved.
Okay, Mr. Sethi, that was your first World Championship, but you had a bouquet of them going forward, and you were considered by many as the topmost opponent and contender to, beat somebody like Mike Russell of England, a so-called guy who thrown the crown quite a few times himself. I mean, to be a world champion, national, okay. Now, to be a world champion, world beater, India doesn't have many. What is basically the differentiating quality? Because there has to be some common qualities that world champions might be having, I'm sure. Because I do not know. I have not even played sport at a national level, so I do not know. So, being a sportsman, what do you think is the differentiating quality for being a world champion?
So I think what differentiates a world champion, a many-time world champion, is somebody obviously who must have mastered his craft, his or her craft. So the differentiator actually is in the mind. That when you play at a competitive level, people call it killer instinct. People call it, the ability to raise the game at, at crucial points in time. I think that comes from a calm brain. It comes from a calm mind. It comes from a mind which doesn't care if you win or lose, but the mind says, let me play my best. the ability to remain completely focused, the ability to remain really calm in a crisis situation is what finally differentiates a many-time world champion from perhaps a one-time world champion or somebody who's really, really good at his or her craft. So the differentiator is the mind. And I think we've reached a stage where everybody works hard. Everybody is working 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day. But the champion is somebody who controls his mind at a crucial stage of a big tournament or a big match.
And what about the external factors?
External factors.
Yes, the external factors.
Yes. Sorry?
Because you see, that's fine. I mean, that's a very important thing. But what about the external factors? I mean, the environment, the infrastructure, the support, the kind of facilities you have for that kind of a sport, probably, and then the competition, the environment. You see, in your sport, obviously, it must have been very different from what it is like today in badminton or probably in cricket. So, draw an analogy, I mean, and which could probably apply to all sports from an Indian's perspective, how external factors can play a very important part in shaping a world champion.
So I think the era where I grew up was an era where most of our sports champions came from a middle class background. And the external factors at that time were, you mentioned a few, the infrastructure, you mentioned support for the athletes. We were living in a time when, we were unable to take money out of the country. We had to get sanctions from the finance ministry for $11 a day. That's what we used to get. So, so it was a tough time. And in a sense, I think that the tough time just made you even more stronger to say that I need to master my craft, irrespective of what the situation was at the time. But I believe that we had enough clubs, we had enough billiard tables at the time in whichever city we went, and that was a legacy of uh, uh, of the British Raj. They put up billiard tables in railway institutes, in small little airline clubs. Jahan pe bhi jao, chote chote table milte. I mean, small clubs had tables. So big factor, yes, I had an opportunity to play in a table, which was very easily accessible. But I think all of us, Prakash Padukone, Vijay Amritraj, to a certain extent, Leander Pace, myself, Vishwanath Anand, we came up through very tough times. We came up through, and I think that was the reason why in 1998, when I went for the Asian Games in Bangkok, in Thailand, I saw that we need to improve the quality of our support systems for our athletes. And I think that's how OGQ, I wear this, that's how OGQ was born. The idea of OGQ came to me in Bangkok. So the answer is that, I think the question was, what about the other environmental factors or the other
we have those things in place now.
Which
we have those things pretty much, kind of organized much better than what we had 35 years back. But despite that, India is nowhere in terms of grabbing those.
And that is why we are seeing more and more frequency with which our athletes win tournaments. That is why our standard of our sport, be it cricket, be it badminton, be it table tennis, you name it. I mean, we could never think of athletics to ever get a medal in athletics, but we got a gold medal through Neeraj in javelin. So the external factors are extremely important. I mean, there is no doubt about it. I'm glad you brought it up. And I would think that in the last, I think it started 20 years back, but in the last 10 years, I think political will, along with a cleaning up of the system, has seen to it that there is a lot of money being poured into sport. There's a lot of money going into schemes which allow an athlete to fulfill his or her potential. So it's a very good time to be a sports person in India today.
There were times when people had to, tour up. You see, even now, it's very important to have an exposure which is global. If you have to compete and participate in global tournaments, and that's not a very, cheap affair. So you think the environment is now conducive to give such opportunities? And is the government, you think, is giving such opportunities for athletes, for sports people to participate in such global arena so that they can understand and, try and standardize as to where they actually stand with respect to the global standards? Do you think the environment is quite favorable now?
You're absolutely right. You need a lot of exposure when you're a junior. The transition from junior to a senior is a very hard transition. And I believe that in the last 10 years, 15 years, there have been, Olympic Gold Quest is a foundation that we formed, but there are so many foundations, sports foundations that have been formed in the last 15 years. And they were formed because there seemed a little bit of a mismatch between the support required and the amount of support being offered. But like I said, I think in the last 10 years, there has been a quantum jump in the type of support that's happening. So your question was, you have a junior who's wanting to go for a junior tournament to get exposure. Will he or she get the funding? He or she will get the funding. Will they get good equipment? They will get good equipment. Whether it is an organization, NGO which is doing it, or whether it is through and but as a junior, when she was 14 years old, she wanted to go for an international tournament, and she was transitioning from 14 to 16 is a very important age where you transition. And her father came to us and I think after her travel, not only for her, but even for her father, because at that time she was young and she needed obviously a parent to travel with her. So I think these are set forth. And now today, government is doing everything that an athlete needs. Today, the role of an Olympic Gold Quest and other, there's so many other foundations, private foundations. Their role in terms of the contribution of money is very minimal. Maximum support is being given by government, and to a little bit of intelligence, we find out where is a good coach for this particular athlete, which is the best, which is the best area where somebody can go and practice shooting, where can they get the best pellets from. So we do that kind of research now. And so I think we are working and we are complementing all that government is doing, all that the federations are doing. I think most sports organizations are complementing that now. But your question of how would a junior athlete get all the support? A junior athlete, if he or she is talented, will get all the support that they require.
Indians as such, from an athletic perspective, yes, Neeraj Chopra has proven a lot of things wrong. But then there was already speculation about him going all the way. And he did justice to what the speculations were by the sports ministry, because there were 3 or 4, including the rifle team. But yes, unfortunately, that girl, that last minute goof up led to probably India losing out on a couple of Olympic medals in the shooting arena. These are sports now which are picking up pretty fast in India. The sports which don't really require a lot of physical ability. I mean, in terms of muscular strength and fitness and all that. Yes, it is required for all sports, but not exactly what we require in a 100 meters. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. So your sport
Or
is one
boxing
where
or weightlifting. Yeah.
your sport is one which is something which this nation should really sports like yours, chess, these are all non-athletic sports. So these kind of sports, why doesn't India really I mean, even India should lobby for getting these kind of sports included in the Olympic, because we have a history of producing world champions in such sports. Your take on this?
You're absolutely right. In fact, I think in the last 15 years or 20 years, India played a fairly important role in getting billiards, snooker. It was clubbed. Billiards, snooker, 9-ball pool and 8-ball pool were clubbed under Cues-Sport. And India played a fairly important role in getting it included into the Asian Games. That's how in 1998, we played the first ever billiards was included in the Asian Games, which Ashok Chandeli and I won the gold medal in the doubles. I think we did play an important role. But at the Olympic level, there is actually a body called World Confederate of Billiard Sport, WCBS, which was formed, and a lot of lobbying was done. But to get into Olympic sport is like you mentioned, is a question of lobbying, and I think the lobbying is not strong enough. So there we are. We are not an Olympic sport. But you
Sport,
put it absolutely right.
but is this sport recognized in other federations? And apart from Asian Games, what are the other arenas, and what is the kind of prize money that it draws, so that more and more youngsters can be drawn towards taking up the sport as a career?
So actually, the Asian Games, billiards was there only for 4 Asian Games: 98, 2002, 2006, and 2010. I think from 2014 onwards, the Asian Games are in Qatar or some such place that they may be included. The prize money in the professional circuit in snooker is very big. So, you have a world champion in snooker, a world professional snooker who could take home, almost 700,000-800,000 pounds, which is like almost $1 million as a winner. And if somebody has a really good year on a professional snooker circuit, they could take home $2-3 million. So that's the kind of money that there exists in professional snooker. Professional billiards, less, 1/10 of that amount that I've just said. But to make a living out of the game in professional snooker, very easy. And I think more and more, I don't know why Indians are not going into the professional circuit in England. There are very few. When I was playing, I tried it in 89, 90, 91, 92. I realized I was better in billiards, so I stopped. At that time, Yasin Merchant also was with me, and Sonic Multani. We were three of us who played in the professional circuit. And after that, there have been, I think, Aditya Mehta and Pankaj Advani have gone. They've also come back.
Michael Ferreira?
He played. So Michael Ferreira and myself, we played the professional billiard circuit, but not the professional snooker circuit.
Okay, what's the difference? Let me take this opportunity for this online tutoring class. In brief, difference between billiards, snooker, pool. What is this? I've never figured out.
So billiards and snooker are played on the same table, which is a billiard table. It is a big table, 12 feet by 6 feet wide. Billiards has got only 3 balls. There is one red ball and there are 2 striker balls. Each opponent has 1 striker ball each. The scoring in billiards is when the object ball, the red ball, goes into the pocket, you get points. But even when your own cue ball goes into the pocket, you get points, which is an in-off. So it's a combination of a pot, an in-off, and a stroke called a cannon, where your cue ball makes contact with the other 2 balls, with the cue ball of the opponent and the red ball. So with the combination of these 3 strokes, you make what is a break. And 0, 2, 5, and it goes up to 100, 200, 300. Technically, you can go on and on and on playing till the time you miss. And so one of the world record break that I made in 92 in the World Championship in the first World Professional Championship that I won in '92 was 1,276. So that till today in the World Championship it stands as a world record. Snooker is very much like carom. You have a striker, one striker ball, and you have 22 other balls. There are 15 red balls and there are other color balls. So you have to put a red ball in and then you have to take any other color ball. So you take the other color ball, black, because it's the maximum points. The red ball remains in the pocket. The black, after you pot it, will come back into a spot, designated spot. And you keep playing till all the red balls are over, and then you finish the whole table from yellow, green, brown, blue, pink, and black ball. And you can score a maximum of 147 points in snooker. So if your cue ball goes into the pocket, it's a foul, very much like carom. Pool is very much like snooker or carom, but played on a smaller table, a much smaller table. It's a 9x5 table, and the pockets are very big. In snooker and billiards, the pockets are tighter, small. In pool, they're bigger, so it's a little easier to get the ball in, and the balls are much bigger in pool. So that is really the
Is it a rich man's game? Is this a rich man's game?
Very interesting question. It is perceived to be a rich man's game. But across the world, the people playing this game today and in the last 30 years are all from working class backgrounds across the world. So I came from a middle class background. Ashok Chandelier from a Michael Ferreira was the only person who came from a affluent background. But across the world, it is a working man's, working class game. So it's not a rich man's game. It is perceived because movies, in Indian movies, you'll see a billiard room in a बहुत बड़ी कोठी or haveli में. But the fact is that billiard rooms every railway institute had a billiard room. And therefore the railways produced such wonderful billiard players because they were living in small colonies. A railway engine driver's son would be playing billiards. So you in fact have Ashok Chandelier, who's a railway man who's been a world champion. So it's not a rich game.
We see the billiards and pools picking up, a lot of youngsters taking up to the sport just for a hobby's purpose. But to make this more than a hobby in this country, what are the things that the government, the corporates, the other stakeholders need to do, probably you need to do, people like you need to do, to make this kind of a household kind of a passion. Like a lot of things are picked up. Yes, Kabaddi has a league, but I've never heard anybody talk about, oh, my son goes for a Kabaddi practice. What is the magic panacea that you have in mind for the next 5 years? At least some, kind of visibility for this sport from a professional perspective is desirable.
You're right, and actually, my experience tells me, and it has happened about 20 years back, that when a sport becomes entertainment, you will find that the sport will do very well. What do I mean? You're right. The cricket from a test match, cricket match, today it has become an IPL, which is pure entertainment. Of course, there is quality of players, but they're providing entertainment. Now in billiards and snooker, earlier it used to be in clubs or railway institutes. But if 20 years back, and now that trend is again coming back, I see it coming back in all the urban centers and even tier 2 cities in India. It is becoming an entertainment industry. So you have an entrepreneur, he takes 2000 square foot की जगह ली, उसमें 5 table डाले, and he opens it up to the public. No membership required. It is open to the public. You come, 100 रुपया दो, आधा घंटा खेलो. And it is happening again. It happened 20 years back and for some reason died down, but today it's happening again. And it's happening across the country. That is the way you will get more and more players into the sport, youngsters into the sport. And the more the number of youngsters that will come into the sport, more the quality of players, the there will be more and more quality players that we will find that we get. Not that every 10, 20 years there will be one Michael Pereira or one, Cues-Geet
Have
or
you
one.
had interactions with the public sector companies? Do you have any kind of experience working with or being supported by public sector companies? Because railways has got lakhs of employees, 10 lakh employees. Coal India has got 10 lakh employees. I mean, these are the kind of public sector companies whose employee welfare schemes themselves, with probably an in-house billiards, snooker, pool competition, could draw in lakhs across the country. It could be a national tournament for in-house Coal India or railways, something like that you've been exposed to? Because I need to talk to this public
Yes,
sector companies.
yes, in fact, you are absolutely right. There is, the Petroleum Sports Board, which is a amalgamation of, or it's the controlling sports board for the oil companies in India. All our top players, and I'll start naming them: Pankaj Advani, uh, Aditya Mehta, uh, Alok Kumar, Rupesh Shah, and
What is the kind of prize? What is the kind of prize money that they announce?
no, so they are employed with them. They are employed with oil companies. Devendra Joshi, they were all employed with oil companies, and then they play. The Petroleum Sports Board has a tournament of their own, but the Petroleum Sports Board is doing fantastic work for billiards and snooker. All these names that I mentioned are all world champions. They have all been employed even today with Petroleum Sports Board. uh, Air India. Air India was a very big supporter of sports persons. The Tatas. I myself was a Tata employee. I told you my first ticket that was given to me to go to London was by a Tata company. So you have.
Could you name the
you
company again? I actually didn't distinctly hear it. What was it? Tata, which one?
It was Tomco, Tata Oil Mills, which was the first Indian company to produce soap. If you remember Hamam soap, it was that company. It got sold to Hindustan Lever in 1993.
Tata Oil Company.
Tata Oil Mills Limited. That was the name. It was called Tomco.
So now, from a training perspective, I mean, you have a federation, national federation. But does that national federation have a proper regional kind of a hub spoke model kind of things, in the country, spread on the country, so that people in different parts of the country can get training opportunities from a coaching perspective, etc.? Is your federation effectively working?
The federation is effectively working to see that our players go abroad and they liaison with government. I think the coaching, so they have official coaches, but I think they can do a better job. I think they can do a better job of
Got
kind
it.
of.
Got
Yeah.
it, Mr. Sethi. Got it, because we understand. And now, when we talk about Olympic Gold Quest, what's your vision and roadmap for this NGO, for this foundation?
So OGQ was formed, like I said, because I realized in 1998 that there was a lot which our athletes required for their preparation, for their training, for their coaching, for equipment. We were not in the pink of health when it came to training. We were not prepared when we went for Asian Games or Olympic medal, and that's how the idea came to me, because I went as a professional billiard player. I was already a 3-time world champion. I went and I saw this firsthand, and I said, can I do something, about it? And I went to Prakash Padukone, and we started this organization. So today, of course, from
Prakash is next
1998
in
to.
line. Prakash is next in line after you.
So Prakash and I, yeah, we started this, and today we are supporting almost 330 athletes, including Paralympians. I had mentioned to you how we supported PV Sindhu. So the main area, see, the bulk of and I think what we've done is we've kind of been torchbearers in showing what an athlete really needs. But once we do that, we have found that government and Sports Authority of India and most of the federations, most of them have been fantastic. They are, they have really, the political will in our country today for sport is top notch. Really, I mean, I have seen, establishments all the way from 1970. That's when I started playing first 74, 75. So, so OGQ today actually works in complement with sports federations and complements the Sports Authority of India. We'll never have the kind of funding that a Sports Authority of India has. But like I said, we have people in our organization that do groundwork, that do research. We come up and say, ये archer को या ये shooter को ये coach चाहिए. Let's get this Korean coach. We sometimes work with Sports Authority of India, and they rely on our intelligence, and then we both work together to see that a coach can come. So that's how we are working.
I
and
mean,
it's a very fulfilling.
Working as a funding partner, for the upcoming talent. Are you working to help them economically, or are you working as a consultant, as a kind of a complementary consulting kind of a foundation to the already existing, organizations like Sports Authority? What is exactly the core?
No, we are not consultants. We are not consultants. We don't act as agents to any athlete. We are a pure not-for-profit. We raise funds from Indians across the world who basically what we say is that a Olympic medal is an Indian pride, and we all need to see that we keep experiencing more and more medals at the Olympics. So that is our mission.
Top 5 companies who are supporting you, public and private, if you can name them.
Sure. The Bajaj Group, HDFC. Then you have. I mean, they just go on and they go on and on. A lot of finance, the financial companies from the finance world are looking, are giving us excellent. There are a lot of HNIs, HDFC,
Tatas.
Sorry, no, the Tatas have still not. No, they don't, because they have
public
got
sector,
a very large.
Public sector, Mr. Sethi.
Public sector, we actually, we've not really tapped the public sector too much. We have not tapped the public sector because I think public sector finally gives to the public sector. They will, give funding to the public sector initiatives. But we focus more on HNIs, individuals, and the large companies. HCL Technologies is one. Yeah, HCL Technologies is one. So they are very big long-term supporters for us. So you have, I mean, I can, the list goes on and on.
Mr. Sethi, what has been the difference between promotion from a promotion perspective between, if I say, if I name between Vishwanathan Anand and you, because both for me as a layman and a common Indian, both are at the same level. I mean, both are equal achievers, performers. But Vishwanathan Anand, chess, yeah, I understand. Chess is more Indian because it originated from India. But media also has taken up the accolades of Anand quite more, closely, much more vociferously than what it has done for an equal footing kind of a performer and achiever like you. Any reasons, any thoughts, any experiences?
No, I think when I was playing competitively and when I was winning medals.
They were longing for good-looking stars, probably. That is the
reason. No, I think what I was saying was Anand and I are in a sense contemporaries. He's slightly junior with me, but he won the World Junior Chess Championship and I won my second World Billiard Championship on the same day. I think August 5th, if I'm not mistaken, 1987. So, so the media has supported, I think it has supported achievers in billiards equally vociferously. I'm retired now. I'm low-key, I'm retired. I want to do my work at OGQ. Anand is still active. And I have not taken up any active role in the federation. I have taken a conscious role.
I think I need to, I need the viewers to also understand. I think you're actually very much right. Because when we were growing up also, 20 years back, 25 years back, with the limited number of media and channels, you were quite frequently there on the television news channels. In fact, they used to show the highlights of you winning the championships. not only you, but also Mr. Michael Ferreira and Yasin Merchant. But
Yes.
of late, I think the achievers and performers have not really been up to the mark like you were. Otherwise, with the kind of media coverage we have today, I'm sure billiards would have been in a much better position than what it is today. It is just a matter of that period when you were there, and now when today we are in dearth of real good, world champions in sports or like yours. Otherwise, there is no dearth of media coverage from that perspective. Am I right if I say so?
You're absolutely right. We got a lot of media coverage, and you're also very right in pointing out that today the media coverage, and we have world champions. We have Pankaj Advani. We have youngsters who are doing well, Shri Krishna and some other Ishpreet Singh. We have good players, but you're right, and but that's a function of media. They want to cover something, they will cover it. They don't want to cover something. It could also be a function that there's so much other happening now. There's so many other achievers
Have
which
you
have
been
come
approached
forward.
for a have you been approached for a biopic?
Um, Actually, I have been. Somebody is actually writing a script for it. But yeah, I mean, whenever that happens, that happens.
And is it from the Hindi film industry?
Yeah.
So the process is on.
Kind of.
That is something which will really help in popularizing this sport a long way.
You're
And
right. You're absolutely right.
in
You're
India,
absolutely
I
right.
mean, yes, please continue.
The Hindi film industry, I'm telling you, is very powerful. And if I think if any sport kind of gets these kind of opportunities, we should take advantage of it just to popularize the sport.
We're towards the last couple of minutes now, Mr. Sethi. Your 5 suggestions to the government of India to make your sport probably a national kind of a craze.
Make it a tax-free entertainment industry. So anybody who wants to put up a table and and have it open to the public, let it be tax-free. Number one. Number two, focus on universities. Flood universities with billiard tables. I have never seen, not never, very few universities have billiard and snooker tables. And if they have, it will be 1 or 2. For 5,000 students, you'll have 2 billiard tables. So flood the universities with 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 tables. And that's number 2. Number 3 is, the junior program is already very strong, but also our award system for all the world championship medals that we achieve is also very good. But I would want, if government and Sports Authority of India along with the federation can lobby to get this into the Asian Games and hopefully then the Olympics, that will be a mind break, absolute the way that one can popularize his sport.
Yeah, I'm sure that is going to be the inflection point, a landmark kind of thing when it comes to kind of popularizing this sport towards in the nook and corner. It's a watershed kind of an initiative which will ensure that suddenly the number of people who take this sport up, and I'm sure we also need some real big celebrities to endorse such sports where the opportunities are so huge economically. I mean, just imagine somebody of the stature of Amitabh Bachchan, if he were playing golf in few of his movies or snooker in few of his movies, the kind of impact or the kind of movies that are being made, if they can, in some part also.
You're right. In '92, when I won the World Professional Championship in Bombay, it was at that time a Holiday Inn hotel in Juhu. He was the chief guest, and he actually gave me, he saw the last 1 hour of my match and he gave me the prize. And it was blasted across all papers, partly because, of course, of the win. But the fact that Amitabh Bachchan was, in real life, in full life, it was, you're right. You're absolutely right. What an Amitabh Bachchan or a Shah Rukh Khan can do for Indian sport is unlimited. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, just even, for example, a company can, for example, I'll just share this probably because this is going to be flashed across corporates also. I'm giving an idea, just comes to me offhand, impromptu. You people spend crores on advertisements. You people spend crores on CSR for sports, in popularizing sports. Probably, what you could do is produce an advertisement, have a Shah Rukh Khan play billiards in that particular advertisement. It serves all the purpose. That particular, Shah Rukh Khan playing billiards and then suddenly saying, and he's won that competition, and then he flashes, okay, this is because I wore this suit, I won this bow tie like this, I won this tournament. So, Raymonds could take this up, I'm sure.
I'm going to ask the Billiard and Snooker Federation of India to get you on board and for your suggestions on how to popularize the game.
I'm telling you, the ad could look like Sethi, clicking and the World Championship, and then it turns it's Shah Rukh Khan and says it's a Raymond suit. So, I mean, not much different from a personality perspective, from a positive, charismatic, and progressive, dynamic aura that you bring on screen, Mr. Sethi. I wish India could have done justice to capitalizing on potential of human beings like you. And if we can do that, we will be better served, nothing to lose. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Jai Hind.
Thank you. All the best to you. Bye.